we're going to begin with strength. So, okay, strength. I would, if this is strength, I'm going to put it in B tier because it's powerful, but it's not A tier yet, I would say. Kakashi can do a lot of stuff with it, but it's because Kakashi is talented. And of course, B tier here doesn't mean this thing is bad, it's just that everything else on the list is extremely powerful. Alright, does that sound good? Alright. One Tomoe Sharingan for strength. It's either F or D. Let's say... I wouldn't say it's F tier, because it's better for you to have this than nothing at all. And if this is B tier, I think this should be probably 2 tiers below it. And I imagine these scaling up logarithmically. But anyways, definitely the weakest one here. So obviously nothing is going to go to F tier, or maybe it is, we don't know. But definitely the weakest form of the Sharingan. Many awakeners of the Sharingan, when they awaken it, such as Obito, they already awaken it with 2 Tomoe, so this is a step they kind of bypass completely. This is the stage Sasuke awakened during the Uchiha clan massacre, which was a retcon. Like, Sasuke's actual awakening was against Haku, but then they said, no, actually, Sasuke had the Sharingan before that, he just never realized it. And then let's move on to the 2 Tomoe. And this one is C tier. It's, you know, pretty neatly in between. I don't think anyone will say this is a weird take. Of course, the 3 Tomoe Sharingan, and perhaps even these 2, can also be used for very powerful jutsu, such as Izanagi and Izanami, but you have to sacrifice the eye to do so. And therefore, I wouldn't say they hold that much power, because it's not something extremely reliable unless you have an arm filled with Sharingan. And this is not the most common thing for you to acquire. And now let's move on to the more interesting varieties. Alright. Okay, this is one of those filler Sharingan. Let me actually make a new one here. Let me create a new row. Row below. Let me put a new nice color. Gray. Okay. And say filler / I don't care. Which is a fair take in my mind, right? So I don't even know who this one's from. It's one of those filler characters in the Izanami explanation that makes absolutely no sense in universe. So it definitely goes in that one. Izuna's Mangekyou. Now, we don't know exactly what Izuna's Mangekyou was capable of. We don't know what his Susanoo looks like. We don't know anything about Izuna's abilities whatsoever. But still, Izuna was a pretty... Oh yeah, someone said there's no Sarada Mangekyou, but don't worry, it would just go to the filler I don't care category anyway. Izuna's Mangekyou. Izuna was a powerful dude. He used to fight against Tobirama every other week. And he was also one of the leaders of the Uchiha clan during the Warring States period. However, having said that, there's nothing that indicates that his Sharingan had extreme hacks, because he did lose to Tobirama, and not, you know, prime Tobirama at that. So I'll put this one in A tier. A tier is pretty fair. A tier is pretty fair, in my mind. And now we move on to Shisui's MS. And now this one, okay. So the thing is about Shisui, everybody says Kodomatsukami is the strongest genjutsu there is. But then again, there are conflicting feats for that jutsu. In the 5 Kage Summit, Danzo used Kodomatsukami to control Mifune. And he used that so that Mifune would give him the post of leader of the alliance. And everybody would, you know, obey Danzo because he wanted power, he wanted to command the entire shinobi world. And he was controlling that. Kodomatsukami allows you to control the target without the target realizing, and it's very difficult to detect the genjutsu. However, once Ao detected it with his Byakugan, he was able to discern, wait a minute, he's under Genjutsu. Because he actually saw Danzo's eyes before, but he would also suspect, even if he hadn't seen Shisui prior, you know, when Shisui was alive and all that, he would still see that Danzo was using some type of jutsu with his eye, because he was suspicious. And he would still, you know, tell on Danzo, and Mifune would be broken out. And there's the thing, Mifune was broken out just by, you know, the people in the summit saying, hey Mifune, you're under Genjutsu, wake up. And Mifune was like, Danzo, how dare you put me under a Genjutsu? It was the easiest method possible. You didn't even have to shake his chakra or hurt him in any way to break the Genjutsu, so Kuromatsu Kami, very overrated. That said, there's also the other instance of Kuromatsu Kami being used, which was when Itachi used his own crow with Shisui's Mangekyou to put him under Kuromatsu Kami in the arc, and this was very powerful because it allowed Itachi to break free of the control of the Edo Tensei, because his command was to protect the Leaf Village. So there's that. On the one hand, one of the feats is very bad and the other one is extremely powerful, which leads me to believe that the two eyes had a different version of the same jutsu. Different Kuromatsu Kamis. Maybe one was a lesser version, the one Danzo had with a smaller cooldown, and the other one was a much more powerful version with a bigger cooldown, which seems to make sense. Like, Itachi knew he was under Kuromatsu Kami. He knew he cast it himself, and everybody was aware, and Itachi was aware, and yet he didn't break out of it. He wasn't snapped out of the Edo Tensei control. On the other hand, Mifune was snapped out in 5 minutes, you know, after Danzo cast the jutsu. So, in my theory, you know, my headcanon, there were two different types of Kuromatsu Kami, and let's just say Danzo probably got the wrong eye. Which also makes sense with the rest of the universe, because every single Mangekyou user, we know the capabilities of their Mangekyou. They have two different abilities in both eyes. Now, they can be related and very similar to each other, like Obito, he has two forms of Kamui in both of his eyes. But they're inherently different, which leads me to believe that Shisui had two types of Kuromatsu Kami. He also had the Susanoo, kinda, you know, it's not really in the manga, but it's in those OVAs, in the video games and all that. But still, the inconsistency of this jutsu and the 10-year cooldown in his most powerful version, I cannot put it above A tier. I'll put it on top of A tier, but I'll just leave it here for now. Otherwise, maybe I actually started this up. I started this up too high, to be fair, but we'll see. I reserve the right to change any of them at any given moment. I would have gotten away if it wasn't for you meddling adults. Danzo Shimura. Shisui stopped here because the number 4. Shisui's EMS probably A. I think I'll actually drop all these 1 tier of strength, because it makes more sense this way. Right? Like, everything stands correctly, but let's just increase the ceiling of this tier list, because I just realized there's the Rinnesharingan, and let's just say I may have overlooked what was in the list. Already ranked Hikaku's MS? I can't do that because it would just be like 16 tiers above this one, so it's impossible. But we can do those hypotheticals later. Itachi's Mangekyou, alright. And of course, Shisui's is here because it's not an EMS as well, and it will be sealed eventually. You cannot just spam it. This is one of the reasons why it's not higher up too. Alright. Itachi. Now, Itachi was the first Mangekyou we've ever seen, and it just so happens to have very powerful abilities. In the fight against Sasuke, Zetsu, who's watching the fight, like he always does, he says, one of Itachi's eyes has the most powerful illusion. And, well, he says that even though Korematsu Kami exists, so you take your pick. And he then says his other eye has the most powerful physical jutsu, which is Amaterasu. Now, these two jutsus are potentially one-hit kills against almost anyone. First, Tsukiyomi is a genjutsu that can literally put you under years of torture if you look into Itachi's eyes, and he can kinda force you into doing that too. We know that the only way to break out of it is if you are extremely capable with your Sharingan. And you should probably, you know, be very careful when looking at Itachi's eyes. Also, the Tsukiyomi, Kakashi says that, well, maybe I can resist it with my Sharingan in part 1, but then he couldn't, like, at all. Sasuke managed to do so with his base Sharingan in Naruto Shippuden, and a lot of people say Itachi let him break out. The data books indicate otherwise because they say Sasuke's Sharingan prowess may have surpassed Itachi's, but in any event, the Tsukiyomi can probably one-shot almost anyone in the verse, even people like Hashirama if Hashirama falls under it. Also, Amaterasu does become a little bit useless in the end of the day because people begin to absorb ninjutsu like crazy, or other people just become, immune to jutsus and stuff like that. But we see, for example, Sasuke using his eye with Amaterasu to one-shot the 8 tails, the second strongest tail beast. And this combination of Amaterasu and Tsukiyomi is extremely powerful. Also, Itachi Susanoo is definitely the strongest non-perfect Susanoo, just because, maybe not stronger than Madara's because Madara has a gigantic non-perfect Susanoo, but other than Madara's, he has the Totsuka Blade and the Yaramir, which are not invincible like many people claim, but they are extremely powerful nonetheless. Of course, Itachi's problem is his chakra and him going blind and being sick, but this warrants him an A tier. His Sharingan is very powerful. Extremely powerful. Do you guys agree with me? No, it's definitely not S tier. It's definitely not S tier. Which Sharingan's better, Itachi or Obito? We're gonna get to it. Alright? Not just a Mangekyou, his Bankai is the most powerful. 13-year-old Itachi's MS. SSSS tier. Amaterasu was pretty nerd, so I think Obito's better. Mangekyou, A tier. A tier. I put this one in A tier. Let's keep going. All right. We have Sasuke's Mangekyou Sharingan now, not the EMS, just the Mangekyou. And naturally, he has Amaterasu, he has Flame Control, and he has the Susanoo. His Susanoo has a powerful weapon, which is the Susanoo arrow. People were having a lot of trouble dodging that thing. Kakashi couldn't get out of the way, he had to Kamui. Danzo couldn't get out of the way at all. He got repeatedly hit by the Susanoo arrow and was getting out of trouble because of Izanagi. And the one time Izanagi wasn't activated, he had to just use a very last resort jutsu, bamfing out his wood style to divert the path of the arrow. Also, Amaterasu, as I explained before, was able to one-shot the 8 tails. It was very powerful against the Raikage, even though the fight was kinda, it kinda draw, but still. I wouldn't put this one on A tier, because Itachi's normal MS, it has more, potential to be deadly. The Tsukiyomi is extremely powerful. Now, of course, Sasuke can control his Amaterasu, which in theory should be completely, OP, but Sasuke doesn't do all that much with it, to be fair. He kind of only uses arrows, and the only one time he was very clever about it was when he used it as a shield against the Raikage, but he never did it again. And of course, this is also because many opponents could just negate Amaterasu later in the war arc. And that was EMS Sasuke, but anyways. He didn't really use all that much of his flaming control and his Susanoo. He only got the armored Susanoo with the MS for a brief second before he ran out of chakra against Kakashi. I'm gonna put this one on top of B tier. And as I said before, these things, they don't escalate, like, they are exponentially stronger for each tier. They're not linear, if that makes sense. So, of course, these Sharingan here are exponentially more powerful than a 3 Tomoe. And I would say this Itachi would probably be mid A tier or even bottom A tier. Definitely not as far away from these as these are far away from the 3 Tomoe. But let's continue. Let's continue with Madara's MS. And now there's a problem. We don't know what his abilities were. And that's pretty unfortunate. We basically have no feats for Madara in that stage of his life. No feats whatsoever, actually. What could he do? We don't know. We can assume he could do the Susanoo. And that's probably a fair assumption. Then again, we don't know if Madara could use what type of Susanoo he could use with his MS. I would assume he probably reached the armored Susanoo like the other MS users. And we also know he went blind. Then again, we have some clues as to what Madara's abilities were. The most, known, the one in one of the Storm games, and in OVA, where Madara's fighting against Hashirama before the fight was even shown in the manga. So it was kind of original content, but Madara could reverse back time, but nothing indicates he actually has this ability. Otherwise, he could have used it, for example, when Zetsu stabbed him in the back. So Madara's Mangekyou, I'll put it in high B tier, because we just don't know exactly what it can do. And I have to assume it was powerful, but then again, we don't know what it was. There's an interview that says the game info is canon like the time rewind. A Kishimoto interview, it can't be canon, first because we see how the fight actually happened. And it wasn't like that in the game. And also, if the time reversal was canon, he would have used it during the war. Then again, Kishimoto probably just thought, I don't feel like coming up with a new ability for the MS here, so it's kind of disappointing. You will see Madara's abilities in the rewrite if you're curious. Now we have another filler eye that I don't care about, another one that I don't care about. And now we get to Obito's Mangekyou Sharingan. Interesting, right? Very cool. Very cool. Obito's OP. Now, the thing is, we only got to see those eyes working together a couple of times. First, when Kakashi and Obito joined forces, and we see that Kamui works faster if you put both eyes into it. Also, when Obito got the 2 MSs, and he was able to Kamui Sasuke back to their dimension in the fight against Kaguya, and then, of course, the DMS Kakashi part of the fight. Now, the DMS Kakashi is not really fair to compare because he also received 6 Paths Chakra, and that's why he probably was able to do the perfect Susanoo with base MSs. And nobody really thinks that was the most sound writing by Kishimoto. There was definitely a lot of fan service there, but it was cool at least. Kamui, though, it's just way too powerful. If you think about both of them, first, you can just phase through anything with a very long duration. You can do that for 5 minutes straight. You can teleport anywhere in the world. We never get any, limitations for the teleportation in Kamui. You don't know, you don't really have to be in the place you want to go. Like, you don't really have to visit it prior to the teleportation there. Like, for example, you would have to with Flying Thunder God, at least as far as we know. And you can also use that jutsu to store things inside the Kamui dimension, blast attacks into the Kamui dimension, like things that were going to destroy you, you just Kamui them into the Kamui dimension. So, this eye goes to S tier. It's just way too broken. And if you think about them being used as a unit, oh man, it's too powerful. It's too powerful. It has to go in S tier. Even though it's not an EMS, also Obito having Hashirama cells kind of circumvents that situation because they actually prevent his eye from going blind even though he spams it non-stop. So Kamui's MS is just way too OP. Dude, this design, what the hell is this thing here? Absolute trash. Indra's Mangekyou. And yes, this is Indra's Mangekyou. It's not Sasuke's like in that stupid filler arc. Oh my god, like I hate that filler arc so much. They give Ashura and Indra Sasuke's and Naruto's abilities. And they just say, yeah, no, it's them, don't worry. Like, Ashura has a Rasengan variant, even though Minato was the one who invented it, and then, Indra, and also Ashura has, Hashirama's Buddha statue, and then Indra has literally this eye. He has Sasuke's eye, he has a purple Susanoo, just like, it identical to Sasuke's, and he can also use the Chidori. Like, you couldn't be less creative than that. Yeah, it looks like an incomplete Rinnegan. That's one of the cool things. Like, it really looks kind of like it, but then with a red color. I like this design as a proto Mangekyou Sharingan. Pretty cool. Thing is, we don't know exactly what it can do. I have to assume it was extremely powerful first because Indra was the son of the Sage of Six Paths, the first descendant of the Uchiha clan, and also reincarnation. I mean, no, he wasn't a reincarnation of Indra. He literally was Indra. Durr. We don't know what this does, but I'll put it in A tier. You know, I think it's fair. We don't know what Indra was like. We don't know how powerful. Oh no, actually, we do see in the manga that he at least had the perfect Susanoo, so this probably goes in S tier. Remember when Hagoromo was talking to Naruto about his actual, self? Naruto is the reincarnation and all that. We actually see Indra Susanoo and Ashura's avatar in a brief panel, but we do see Indra had the perfect Susanoo, so this goes in S tier. It probably wasn't the EMS per se, because there wasn't anybody else for him to grab another Mangekyou from. He was literally like the first guy. I mean, he didn't grab Hagoromo's Rinnegan, otherwise he would have had the Rinnegan. But I can see this being something a little bit different. Before his bloodline was diluted, perhaps this was kinda as powerful as an EMS without it being an EMS. And as you can see, it does resemble the Rinnegan a lot, so you can see maybe it was almost a Rinnegan, one of the strongest Mangekyous ever in existence, but we don't know exactly what it can do. It can do a perfect Susanoo, so I'm leaving it in the S tier category. I think it makes sense. I don't know if this... Wait, no, this is Shin's, right? This is Shin Uchiha's Mangekyou, isn't it? F tier. Below one Tomoe. Absolute trash. I can control weapons! I can throw weapons! Yes, congratulations. 7-year-old academy students can throw weapons with their hands. You don't need a Mangekyou to do that, you fodder. Okay. We get to... Oh, look at that. The Rinnesharingan. We don't know what this does. That's the thing. We just see it in Madara's and Kaguya's forehead, and we don't know what it does. But then again, it has to be strong, right? So I'll just put it in S tier because, duh. It does cast the Infinite Tsukiyomi, and that's what we see, which to be fair, is the most powerful jutsu ever cast. Then again, we don't see anything else. F tier used by Kage. No, Kage is not canon. I'm considering it used by Madara, you know, Infinite Tsukuyomi and all that. It can legit put anyone in the Infinite Tsukuyomi. Yeah, not everyone, because Sasuke managed to block that with his Susanoo. But yeah, this one's definitely S tier. I don't think this is a hot take or anything. If it's in Kage, it's F tier. No, this is strength, and Kage is not canon, but Madara does have it, so I'm not gonna put it here. Okay. All right. I think this is fair. Right. EMS for Sasuke. So Sasuke, he didn't have an EMS for too long, and well, he could use his armored Susanoo without, you know, getting tired. He could lace more of his arrows with Amaterasu, use Amaterasu more freely, even though he definitely didn't use that to the fullest extent that he could have. And this is a gripe that I have with Sasuke and Flame Control, which I will definitely gonna work with in the rewrite. But Sasuke definitely got a power boost here. Not only because he can maintain his abilities for as long as he has chakra, but also because they're more powerful. And it's very much implied. All types of Sharingan, the stronger they get, the stronger they make the user. And this also applies to the Rinnegan. I will put this in A tier above Itachi's eye, but not quite S tier. He doesn't have the perfect Susanoo. He doesn't seem to be a master of Kagutsuchi, you know, flame control yet. And he only gets that for... I mean, he only actually uses it, the EMS, for 12 hours or so from the moment he leaves the hideout until the moment he gets the Rinnegan. You know, after Madara stabs him. This all, it's like a 12-hour time span. So he doesn't, in universe, he doesn't use this eye very much. So he probably didn't even have time to get accustomed to it before he got the Rinnegan. But it makes him more powerful, of course. And I would say he's more powerful than Itachi, primarily because he doesn't have the drawbacks of just having a normal MS. Madara's EMS now. Alright. So, we have the same problem with this other one. We don't know what his abilities were. But we do know he had his armored Susanoo. And we don't know if his armored Susanoo with normal MS was as large as his armored Susanoo with EMS. But his armored Susanoo, not the perfect Susanoo, just the armored Susanoo was as large as a perfect Susanoo. It was larger than the Nine Tails. And the armored Susanoo was able to casually tank a Bijudama. If you read Hashirama vs. Madara again, you'll see that. You can combine that also with whatever abilities Madara had that we don't know of, and this will obviously lead to an S tier. I'll probably put it in the same level as Indra's EMS. Of course, Madara is stronger than Obito, but the abilities of this eye, and if you consider them when you put them together and you gain access to the Susanoo, this eye gets more OP than Madara's, at least as far as we can tell, because we don't know his abilities. But it still goes in S tier. And of course, Madara had more experience than Sasuke using his EMS, because these two characters are the only ones who actually unlock the EMS ever. And therefore, he definitely has more power over it, and so he is in a superior tier than Sasuke. Okay. Fugaku. We don't know what he does. I'll just put him in the bottom of B tier. I don't think Fugaku was weak or anything, but I just think he was weaker than all these guys with an MS, and this thing, it's pretty much a filler eye. Though we can maybe assume he could use the Susanoo, perhaps. It's very likely that he also had Amaterasu in one of his eyes, because this seems to be the trend with Sasuke's branch of the family. You know, Itachi had it, Sasuke had it. It would make sense for Fugaku to have Amaterasu. And we just wouldn't know which one would be the other ability. But yes. it is what it is. I'm not gonna put in filler, I don't care, because it's Fugaku, I know who he is, he's not filler. His eye may be filler, but this design just looks cool too, so I think it's powerful. Yeah. Fugaku's cool. Fugaku's pretty cool. Now we're gonna get to the Rinnegans. Okay. First, okay, so there's a thing. People may not realize this, but we only see one Rinnegan, one type of Rinnegan before Sasuke awakens his, and it's Madara's Rinnegan, used by several different people. Used by Nagato first, / Pain, then used by Obito, and then used by Madara. But we have to consider this eye to its fullest extent. Like, we could separate the users. Of course, Nagato wouldn't rank much higher than A tier here, with his ability to use the eye. However, when you use Madara's Rinnegan to its fullest potential, it's SS tier. It's absolutely SS tier. Limbo is arguably the strongest jutsu in the entire verse. It can neg every single one of these eyes below. Even Obito's Mangekyou, because Obito cannot see the Limbo clone, and the Limbo clone can attack him while he's not comboing because he doesn't know there's something attacking him. Limbo's just an absolutely broken OP jutsu. Also, the Chibaku Tensei's Madara is able to produce with his eye when he is the Jinchuriki of the Ten Tails. It's like 20 or so, and they're the sizes of small cities or even small countries, which is pretty insane. Also, when Madara is in Edo Tensei and nerfed, his Rinnegan is not at the peak of its power. He's able to summon 2 meteors casually. And also we see Nagato and Obito using the other abilities of this eye to a lot, to a lot of power. They were extremely powerful with it, and they didn't even have access to the other stuff Madara has. He can also still use the perfect Susanoo with the Rinnegan, so I cannot put this anywhere else than SS tier. And then we get Sasuke's Rinnegan, which also goes into SS tier. Sasuke has Ameno Tejikara, which, yeah, sure, it's like the substitution jutsu. It's literally the substitution jutsu, but you don't have to weave hand sign. But this Rinnegan, it simply boosts Sasuke into a completely new tier of strength. If you compare EMS Sasuke to Rinnegan Sasuke, if you put 20 EMS Sasukes to fight Rinnegan Sasuke, they would all lose. Like, if they fought him together. So, he was able to use Chibaku Tensei casually trapping 9 tail beasts and also putting all of them under Genjutsu. He was able to draw their chakra and use the Indra Susanoo. It's just way too strong. And yes, I think we end this round of the tier list. We're gonna do designs next, but first I want to know what you guys think. Interesting tier list. Does that look, mildly correct, or am I wrong about it? If Sasuke took Madara's eye, could he have used his Limbo clones? Probably not, because the others, Nagato and Obito, didn't seem to be able to access those abilities, so no. No Byakugan. No, this is the Rinnegan tier list. / Sharingan. Good list. Looks good. The problem with substitution is that it doesn't make sense. Yeah, I made an entire video about it. I mostly agree. Salad would be here, right here. Filler, I don't care. Should be right here. Where she deserves. Shin's eyes are filler, I don't care. Could be. Very fair take. But I think it's good to put it below the weakest form of the Sharingan. Because this doesn't imply it's weak. It only implies I don't care about it, or that's, a filler eye that nobody really knows what they can do. Or who used them. I feel like Sasuke MS is stronger than Itachi's. That's just me. No, I don't think so. Itachi has way more hacks than he does. Like, what Sasuke has going for him is that he's better at Amaterasu because he can control the Dark Flames. But eventually this turns a little bit obsolete anyway. How does the Byakugan compare to these in terms of... The Byakugan will be D tier, right next to the 2 Tomoe Sharingan. It doesn't really reach 3 Tomoe Sharingan level. I'll probably put the Byakugan above to the 2 Tomoe Sharingan here, but it would still be D tier. The Byakugan does not have good variety. No, it doesn't. You just gave the definition of Kaguya for filler eyes. Madara EMS is second in S tier. Probably fair. We don't know what Indra does, so this is probably putting too much faith into him. It's just that he was like the son of Hagoromo, so you can probably assume he does have a lot of strength, especially his dojutsu, but these two are pretty much interchangeable, I would say. So that is troublesome. Remember when Hyuga were rivals of the Uchiha clan? That was a funny time in history. Now let's put them... Wait, I can't take them out? I can't just take them out? Why? Okay, I'll probably have to restart the tier list. Hold on. Oh, I'm disappointed, guys. We got no donations so far. You don't want to see your names on screen? You don't want to reach the nice goal? Disappointing, very disappointing. But now we're going to do the designs tier list. And I think I personally find this type of tier list more interesting. Wait, hold on, where is it? I closed it. Let me find the tier list again. I have no money. Oh, they're here. Okay. Oh, reset. Reset's good. All right. I just had to reset. I'm just kind of dumb. All right, then let's go to presentation mode once more. Presentation mode. All right. Let me arrange this a little bit differently. Let me arrange this a little bit differently. I don't think there's any need to actually do the filler tier this time around because I can just rank the designs and whatever. You get what I mean? You get what I mean? And then... Alright. Let me just grab this thing here for a second. And we go to display capture. Alright. Now let's rank them for the design of the Sharingan. Okay, this one, it looks terrible, D tier. Like, look at this. It's like a triangle with half semicircles. It doesn't look good. Like, if you tell me this thing looks good, you're pretty dumb. I don't even know who this is from. So, yeah, whatever. Don't like it. Indra, I'll put Indra in A tier. I really like this proto Rinnegan design. It also reminds me of the Uzumaki clan symbol, which is probably not exactly what they were going for. But I like this one. The swirling pattern. It's very simple but elegant, and it's you know, like the Rinnegan. Okay, Izuna's. I have to be real with you guys. Izuna's D tier. This is a really ugly design. Like, it just doesn't look very good. When you see that in the character, it looks kind of trash, to be fair. Like, I don't like this thing. It's not elegant. It's not cool. It's just meh. Actually, worse than meh. It's bad. I won't give it F tier because I think there are worse things. But then again, not a very good one. Madara's EMS, I'll put it in B tier. It's just not that interesting to me. It's like a 3 Tomoe Sharingan that just kind of, you know, got a little bit swirly. But not my favorite, to be honest. Not exactly my favorite. I don't like it. And it does get much better with the EMS. It does really get better. But the MS, Madara's MS, is not my favorite design. The Rinnegan, I'll put it in A tier. I'm not a huge fan of the Rinnegan. I mean, it looks cool, but it may be a little bit too simple for that type of eye, you know, the godly eye that the Rinnegan's supposed to be. But the design, you know, when Pain has it, it looks cool. But I think Madara looks much cooler with his EMS than with the Rinnegan. Still, not a bad design, just not my favorite. But it's still A tier. Pretty good, pretty good. We have this one. Okay, this one is from those Izanami fillers too. This one is kind of like Itachi's MS, but in reverse, like the colors are reversed. And this isn't the worst one here. I'll put it in C tier. I don't think the reverse colors worked that well for this design. But, you know, it's not really the staple of what I think when I picture a Mangekyou Sharingan, but definitely not as bad as this one, for example. Still, not the greatest design either. They're probably just like rushing. Ellie, we have to get a Mangekyou design for this filler episode really quick. And then they just can't, like, look at this thing here. Jesus Christ. This one is F tier. Like, this one is terrible. Like, look at this. It looks like a clover. What the hell? Like, what the hell is this? But then again, it's fine, I suppose. It's just a filler episode. F tier. I think it deserves. Do you guys agree with me? I like that one. You like the 3-ball one? I don't like this one. I don't know, man. I just don't. I don't feel this one. Okay, the 2 Tomoe. The 2 Tomoe is A tier. It's pretty classic. It's the Sharingan Sasuke gets in the beginning of the series. And it just, you know, the base Sharingan, we're so used to it that we kind of just, you know, don't even think about it anymore. But the Sharingan, just the normal Sharingan, is such a cool eye. It's simple, but it's so good at the same time. Kishimoto is great at doing simple designs that look amazing. And this one goes to A tier. I'll put it above the Rinnegan and Indra's Mangekyou. The 3 Tomoe, this is the staple. You know, this is S tier. I really, really like this one. Just the normal, most common Sharingan. It's just so cool. Like, whenever a character has this eye, it looks great. And the 3 Tomoe is an easy S tier for me. It looks better than the 2 Tomoe because it looks more complete. Obviously, it looks more mature, and it symbolizes the strength that characters acquire. You know, when Sasuke gets his 3rd Tomoe, it's a pretty impactful moment in the series. And then when Sarada gets her, they don't even show her getting it. She just gets the 3rd Tomoe out of nowhere. Anyway, oh, we got a donation. The first one of the day. About today's video, the flashback Madara vs Hashirama fight using swords makes no sense. Probably would be a bother to Hashirama for him to carry a sword. Yeah, I mean, they're weapons. Sometimes they use weapons. Weapons, they tend to be pretty deadly when they hit. Let me put your name on screen now. Let me just change this real quick so that I can put your name. Luis Roberto, thank you so much for the donation. That's like $1 Alright. And now we got $1 for the goal. Almost there, only 68 more. But yeah, like, it's weird because sometimes weapons are unreasonably effective. For example, Sasuke was able to pierce through Jubidara's body with his sword without any type of chakra enhancing it. And Kishimoto probably does that because it looks cool when ninjas fight with weapons. And in the canon fight, sure, Hashirama was showing some weapons before, but they were mostly using swords and whatnot, and Madara was using his scythe when they were out of chakra and, just kind of hanging in there just before their final clash. Then again, the fight starts with Hashirama clashing against Madara, and Hashirama was using that thick sword against Madara's fan. But, sometimes it's cool for them to use weapons and whatnot. I think it's fine, even though it may not make sense in terms of, like, durability and whatnot. You can say, oh, those weapons, they are using those weapons for a reason. Like, when they use the weapons, they get powerful. But thank you for the donation. Let's get back to the tier list. S tier for the third Tomoe. Really like this design. Really amazing design, to be fair. And if this design wasn't amazing, the Sharingan and the Uchiha would definitely not be as popular because this was the staple Uchiha design for a long time. And just remember when Itachi showed up for the first time in the Leaf Village and he had the Sharingan. This Sharingan design was amazing, like, it was crazy. Okay. Shisui's, I'll put it in top 8 here. Doesn't really quite make the S tier for me. I like the design, but I don't think it's the best one. I know a lot of people really like this design, but I'll put it in A tier. For me, it doesn't really quite break that barrier. I don't know what it is. I think I kind of always picture this Sharingan in a crow, and that probably makes it less cool for me. Also, there's that meme where they put Shisui's eye in a chicken. It's funny. It looks cool, but not the coolest one. Still pretty cool. Not a bad design whatsoever. Kakashi and Obito. I always picture this MS in Kakashi's face because we barely ever see this in Obito's face. So I always say Kakashi's MS. I'll put this one in S tier. Below the three Tomoe, but still S tier. I really like this design. I don't know why, but this thinning of the line here looks really cool. And it's 3 major design elements. I don't know what you call this, like swirling patterns, whatever. Shisui's eye is 4, so it kind of breaks away from the 3 pattern here. Like you can see, even Madara's is 3 as well because of the 3 Tomoe, and Shisui's kind of breaks that. Even Izuna's and this one and this one and this one, they all follow that 3 pattern, which is broken by Shisui's. Maybe that's one of the reasons I don't like this one very much. But then you have Kakashi's Mangekyou, which I really like. And I remember this was the second one we saw. I remember seeing it for the first time when Kakashi used it on Datara. It was just really cool. And this design looks cool too. The one Tomoe, I'll put it below Madara's here in B tier. This one doesn't look that great because the lonely Tomoe here is not the most interesting thing. It looks a little bit asymmetrical, which is not as cool. But still, obviously, this is supposed to indicate the user is a noob, and the user is not very strong yet. And it does its job completely fine. This one is barely in the series, to be fair. When Madara awakens his Sharingan, he awakens to 1 Sharingan Tomoes. And actually, when Sasuke awakens his, he awakens 1 with 2 Tomoe and 1 with 1. So there's that, but I mean, I have no issues with this design here. It's obvious that indicates the user is not strong yet. Alright. Madara's EMS, I'll put it in S tier. I don't like his EMS like this. I don't like Izuna's EMS, but I like the combination. I think the combination really improves them both. And I also like, this idea that when you get the EMS, you combine both designs, and this obviously begins with Madara's EMS. I think it's a neat idea. And you can see how Kishimoto planned those two MSs to come together and form the EMS Madara has. I like this design better than Kakashi's, actually. I really like this one. Alright. Kurenai got Zero Tomoe Sharingan. Yeah, Madara's is nice. Fugaku. Yeah, we get Fugaku now. Where do you think... Yeah, Fugaku's just really... Like, this design deserves the SS tier. For some reason, they really did a nice design for him. And I don't think this is a hot take, because everybody loves this design, even though, like, it's in one filler episode. Everyone's like, dude, Fugaku's MS looks amazing. Let's see if you guys... I want to see if you guys agree with this. Because, yeah, it looks better than Madara's, man. And Kakashi, like, look at it. It's so elegant. Look at this. Like, there's something about it. Like, the way it forms... You know, it has the pattern of 3 as well, which is cool. But then it has this very nice drop-like design. And then these other small balls that are like Tomoe, but not exactly like Tomoe, next to it. It makes, like... You know, it seems as though you got the dark part from here and put it in here. It's just good. I'm not a designer. I don't know how to explain it exactly, but it looks great. You know, triple Tomoe, literally 6 Tomoe. No, not exactly. But still, really good design, and I think most people would agree with me. It's like multiple yin yangs. Yeah, like something like that. Yeah, it's really good. Oh, Fugaku's looks so weird. Looks like garbage. Damn. Where's Hikaku's MS design? They didn't put Hikaku's, man, which is unfortunate. We now have Itachi's, and Itachi's is my favorite. Itachi's go to SS tier. I know a lot of people will say it's too simple, but I just think this design is so elegant and, like, symmetrical. And, well, it's simple, but it's so cool as well. This is, for me, the best Mangekyou design. The best eye design in the series, to be fair. Definitely my favorite one. Goes on the top of SS tier. I really like it. It's really good in the eye. No pun intended. Like, when you look at it, it just feels good to look at this design. It's one of those very satisfying designs, and it looks edgy as well, you know, which makes sense for Itachi, but also elegant in the same time. I don't know, man. I really like this one. It's my favorite, so it definitely goes in the top. And it's not because I'm like a Itachi fanboy, because Itachi is definitely not my favorite. I prefer Sasuke as a character over Itachi. So there's that. Okay, easiest F tier in the entire list. Like, what the hell is this thing? What the hell is this? This is absolutely trash. Like, I could come up with a better design if you tell me to do so. Like, look at this crap. Look. Like, it's swirling motions, which I guess makes sense, but it's so ugly. Like, holy crap. Toilet Sharingan, yeah, it's terrible. Absolutely terrible. Absolutely trash. Nothing, like, look at this thing. I don't have to say very much about it. The Rinnesharingan, easy F tier. I detest the look of the Rinnesharingan. Not necessarily because I don't like the pattern. If it was this pattern, the pattern alone, it would probably just like be B tier or A tier, it would be fine. But I don't like that it's a third eye in the middle of the user's forehead. I think that looks really, really ugly. Like, it looks terrible. The Rinnesharingan is one of those things I don't like at all. Like, a third eye opening in the forehead. Don't like that. Don't like that. Looks really ugly. I don't like Jubidara's design to begin with. I think his design is pretty ugly too, especially in the anime because he's green. And then when you slap this big eye in the middle of his forehead, it just looks weird and ugly, and I don't like it. Oh, more donations from Louis. I saw children playing with Akatsuki clothes in my condominium. Not even the kids like Boruto. How can you kill a sequel like that? That's a good sign, huh? Or maybe a bad one. At least Naruto is going strong with the new generation. I mean, Naruto is always going to be an everlasting story. Boruto is going to die a few years after it's done, obviously. And it just comes down to the heart of the story and the writing and the characters and everything. You know, the difference in quality is astounding. But now we have Sasuke's, and thank you so much for the donation, by the way. Second donation. Oh, I have to update the thing in there. I don't have to change the name because it was the same dude, but there was another dollar. Another dollar. We do $2. $2 now. Oops. Got the $2. All right. Oh no. Messed it up. Okay. Cool. Should be good now. Nice. Sasuke's. Let's begin by the MS because it makes more sense to go from here. Blah, blah. It's S tier. I mean, this is the one time they managed to pull off the reverse collars really well. Like, it's very elegant. Look at this. Like, it breaks away from the three, Tomoe pattern thing because it does like 6. But it looks like a lotus flower, and then there's the flower shape here, and this inside also looks really good. It looks amazing, to be fair. Oh, you can't see? I didn't. Oh, I forgot to change the thing. Sorry. I'm a noob streamer. Anyways, I put Sasuke's MS in S tier. I'll say below. Actually, I prefer this one over Fugaku's. I'll put it in here, just below Itachi's. Like, look at how they did a 6 pattern here, not a 3 pattern like most other Sharingan, and it's different and it looks great. It also how they pulled off the reverse color thing. The red is in the inside and the black is on the outside, and like unlike most of the others, and they did it very poorly in those here. Like these 3 here, it's how you don't do it because the patterns don't look great with the red. And then wow, this right here looks amazing. The flower like shape here, the lotus flower, and then also this other shape inside, almost like a David star. It looks really good and neat and clean. So I like reverse color Obito MS. There's an anime mistake when they actually they do the reverse color for when Kakashi Kamui's the Susanoo arrow Sasuke shoots at him. It's a mistake. Like, it wasn't supposed to be like that, but it looks cool. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't look bad, but I still would prefer it this way, regardless. And then we have Sasuke's EMS, and I still like this one, but not as much as this one. I like the combination of Itachi's design with the 3 thing here, that it kind of reflects what Itachi's Sharingan was like. It's flat, but you get the point, right? And you also maintain the lotus shape. Some people say this is over-designed, that it's too complicated, like, and I can see that being an argument for it not being so good. But I still like it. I like it a lot. So much so that I give it an S tier. But really good design here. I think it does better the combination than Madara's EMS. The combination of Madara's and Izuna's, it was good, but Itachi's and Sasuke's, it's better, a better combo. We then have the Sasuke's Rinnegan. I'll put this one right above Indra's. I think the Rinnegan looks better with a Tomoe, but, you know, not that much better, to be fair. I think it's pretty, you know, standard for the Rinnegan, and then the Tomoes, they make it a little more interesting to look at, but still not that interesting. Still not a bad design in any event. This one doesn't look very good. I think I'll put it in F tier. I'll put it above these ones. It's not as bad, but like, it's a ball in a triangle. Like, it's just a ball in a like. Man, I'll give this one D tier. Like, I'll say the design's better than these ones here, but not that great. Not that great. This one, Shin's Sharingan, is meh. But this is the design tier list. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? I think it's a pretty good one. Pretty good one. Pretty good design tier list for the Mangekyous and the Rinnegans. Sarada's Mangekyou. Oh, some people are talking. I would probably put hers in C tier. Probably put hers in C tier, to be fair. No, being unbiased and all that. Solid L out of 10. Yeah, what? Sarada would be C tier. I'll probably actually put it above this one in C tier, but not much more than that.